Good afternoon, Mr. Fu Hijak, CEO, Dr. Kwet Lit Singh, Deputy CEO, Associate Professor Chia Wei Kiet, CMB, Senior Management, and fellow colleagues. I am Annabelle, and this is Joel. Together, we are your MCs for today. Welcome to our COVID-19 Staff Appreciation event.
It's always nice when someone gets your name right. Thank you. We are gathered here today to show our appreciation and gratitude to all who have gone above and beyond the call of duty during this COVID-19 pandemic. To kick off this afternoon's event, we have put together a video recapping the year and our campus's response to the pandemic. The video highlights our staff in action and showcases their professionalism, hard work, and dedication. Please sit back and enjoy.
Jurong Health Campus was at the forefront in this fight against COVID-19. All of our staff were involved in this fight. Our efforts contributed to flattening of the curve. This video is a tribute to all staff in Jurong Health Campus. It showcases what our staff went through in the course of this pandemic. Please sit back and enjoy.
What is your funniest moment while at work during the COVID-19 period?
Actually, we need to wear the full PPE with the face shield, everything. Even our appearance also is quite funny. I don't know how the patient feel when they're looking at us.
The managing agent of the CCF, they brought the wrong batch of nationality people down for a comm session.
Every time post shift, we will try to share the class order is very tiring, but we will try to share and then voice out what's our thoughts of that days.
With Dr. Lydia Au. So because she's a very, very funny person, so she made the whole serology experience very enjoyable and interesting.
During the registration, we are not allowed to touch their work permit cards. So when we wanted to scan the barcode, so when we asked them to turn over the cards, so they don't understand, they actually turn around.
Preparing for the opening day, we stayed all the way until 9 p.m. just folding scrubs.
Every time we finish our work, we need to take a bath. But the water in the bathroom, sport types, very cold, very hot, very, very hot.
Fun moments, when we hang out with the other ops IC and other people in Jurong Health, and we crack a lot of jokes. Even when working in quite a serious environment, I think we see the fun out of it.
I remember I accompanied a dorm commander to a toilet in the dormitory.
How did you stop yourself from going to the toilet while wearing PPE when working non-stop with COVID-19 patients?
Try to drink less water, so we avoid when going toilet and then burn off all the PPE.
For me, I'll try to hold it, until I finish my task in the room.
Train your bladder muscles.
I remember that time, the night before, I had mala xiangguo, Then the next day, so no choice, you just want to go to the toilet before your full PPE, so you just maintain.
What is one thing you dislike about the whole COVID-19 pandemic?
Cannot go home. Cannot go home, yes.
Not being able to travel overseas.
Wearing double layer gown was not easy for me.
The mask, you need to wear, especially at the start, it can be quite uncomfortable.
Basically, I like everything, especially we got a lot of nice foodies.
It's actually the toilets, because we literally have to use the gents' toilet.
What did you do to relax and distress during the pandemic?
Order food. So that's something I enjoyed. Bubble tea, cheesecake during break.
Colleague activity, which is TikTok.
The favorite thing I like to do is probably doing surgery.
Eat. After everything, I was eat.
I guess ordering, food deliveries.
I think listening to audio clips that has nature sounds.
I just stay at home and take a nap and sleep.
What is your comfort food during the COVID-19 period?
Dessert and bubble tea.
Oh, comfort food, fried chicken for sure, yeah.
Bubble tea.
Yeah, so spicy food is my comfort food at that time.
Potato chips. Although I'm a dietitian, but
I would say Hello Panda.
Bubble tea and mango chicken.
Who did you depend on most during the COVID-19 pandemic?
The team is very important, like the medical teams, the doctors, the infection control team, my working colleagues and also my ward sister.
For me as well, it's colleagues.
Friends and family really showed a lot of support.
I probably depend most on my wife.
Can I say Hui Ying? No, because she's
Sure.
my second IC.
Name one thing which is most important or valuable to you during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Most important thing, to key in your temperature twice a day.
Off day. Really need an off day and leave.
This is my phone lah. Cause we had to remain contactable.
For me, I think it's the Grab app.
My phone. Because when you call ambulance, I need to have my phone with me.
Give one word to describe your experience working in this COVID-19 pandemic.
Very stressful, not peaceful.
Memorable.
Insightful.
I would say grateful.
Sense of satisfaction.
Fun.
It's memorable for me.
The word will be teamwork.
I think for me it's unforgettable.
Valuable. I was very proud to be part of the team.
We thank the staff who were brave enough to be featured in this video. Their candid answers gave insight into what they went through in the course of this pandemic. On behalf of the COVID-19 Staff Appreciation Committee, we hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you.
Wow, what a video. I see that bubble tea was a reoccurring theme. I hope they ordered 25% sugar.
Yeah, it's great that,
Can get along very well. I think that's the best
are
part.
these bloopers?
Is it boring at your room?
明明都出過去嘛。
This encouraging.
後先生後肚。
頭先真係好啊
TikTok, what is
Me? The latest trend lah, like anything that the latest trend. The dance TikTok that we do.
Example?
Example?
Must edit a bit, don't make us like a fool.
No, even I also impromptu.
That's all.
Oh, okay. I'm sweating already.
Most important thing during the pandemic is I make it sure I have disposable underwear. Give one word to describe your experience working this COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, because we need to take a bath every time, twice a year.
We hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you. Okay.
Is there another round of bloopers? Oh no, we're the blooper. Okay, got it. What a video. Let's give all our colleagues a big round of applause. Now, check. Now, our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Foo Hee-jak, has a special announcement to make. I wonder what's about. Mr. Foo, please.
Sorry, Mr. Fu, I seem to have wet the microphone. I had to wipe it down, so yeah, it's excused. Oh, is it like this? Well, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. With COVID-19, you can rapidly lose track of time, right? So, it is actually a very heartwarming video that we have just seen. But yet, at the same time, COVID-19 is still raging around the world. Today's newspaper, we saw 60 million cases, 1.4 million deaths, and the most concerning thing is that half of this actually occurred in the last 70 days. So we in Singapore, we experienced 15 days worth of free of community transmission. But then just when we thought maybe phase 3 could be announced really soon, we had one case popped up, enjoyed seafood in one of those restaurants that may not be open for a long time, I think. And I think it just points to us the need to be continuously vigilant.
because COVID-19 is not over yet. But yet at the same time, amidst all of this grimness around the world, we have the good fortune, the opportunity to be able to come together finally in small ways, nonetheless, to be able to celebrate our COVID-19 staff appreciation event. This morning too, in the newspaper, I actually saw that various words have been named a word of the year. In November, Collins Dictionary named lockdown as the word for the year. Oxford named quarantine, and part of the reason why these words were chosen was because it was a unifying word. Everybody around the world was experiencing it. Everybody around the world felt trapped by it. Everybody around the world felt, in a sense, like us, unified by it. For us, coming together, and you can hear from all the staff comments that even though they were stressed by it, probably not as stressed as fighting COVID. We came together and it unified us because we were able to rally around a common purpose, fight a common front, fight a common disease. And so as we end this long and challenging year, this year passed very fast. It's already December. Haven't cleared compliance leave. I got the names of some of you who never applied for compliance leave. But it is an opportunity for us to recognize and appreciate each other for contributing towards this fight. So today, this event, it is to celebrate everyday heroes of the Jurong Health Campus. All of us and all of our colleagues who are not able to come. This event is actually specially organized for all our colleagues, and it is so important that the organizing chairman has got to be the future CEO of NTFGH. Listen, so thank you very much, and the organizing committee. At the start of COVID-19, we recall that this can be done because we fought SARS before. Probably not as part of the Jurong Health Campus, but I think many of us in this room fought SARS before. But then very quickly we realized that, wow, COVID-19 is a lot bigger than what we experienced during SARS. I must say, me included, there was a sense of anxiety, fear, not knowing who we are going to be dealing with, right? Something that we cannot see. At least where you have an enemy that you can train your eye on, it's easier to focus. But in this case, it was not. But I'm actually very happy to say that we responded with bravery, courage, a sense of selflessness, and really, it has been an inspiration to watch. As I was preparing for this speech, right, what to say, so many names come to my mind. Surinder, Karen, Kian Swan, etc. And then I realized that if I were to start to rattle off these names, then we all cannot finish this event, right? Because the number of people who have gone way over and beyond is just fantastic. So it suffices to say that it is my personal honor and privilege to be able to work alongside a bunch of courageous, inspirational, selfless people during this time. When we did so, actually the fight was brutal. The fight was really brutal. Fever tents started to pop up at our emergency department, right? Just when we thought that one extension was good enough, the second extension became necessary, the third extension became necessary. And I think going forward, we may have to renovate our emergency department, to actually put in place all the learning that we have done for emergency department, for our isolation wards, etc., so that we'll be even better prepared for the future. But it suffices to say that at that point in time, right, the number of migrant workers from the dormitories nearby was actually quite frightening. At some point, I was told, and the tally shows that we receive a record number of 80 COVID positive patients in a day. I think our count right now is that amongst all the public hospitals, we receive the second highest after NCID. So, you know, the contribution from our colleagues on the Jurong Health Campus, and that includes the Jurong Community Hospital, has been fantastic, you know, and we could not have done it without everybody pulling together, including, you know, our EPI team. You remember at that point in time where the number of cases were coming in and the turnaround in terms of contact tracing was supposed to be so fast. So many people, our EPI team worked non-stop. And then suddenly they have volunteers from all over the place who work alongside them through the night, you know, to be able to make sure that we get the contact tracing done so that we were able to protect our patients and our staff. And then we open up ward after ward. So I was going through that, and I was told that Surinder has a nice animated picture about, you know, how we open the different wards are lighted up, and then, you know, etc. And it is actually a marvel to behold, because before COVID-19, right, we constantly look at our bed situation, and then we say we don't have staff lah, how to open lah, you know, and suddenly, you know, we look at the animation, and I look at this is actually the sequence of how we open up, you know. ICU Port 5, Ward 5P, we have chairs in the fever tent area, trolley in the fever tents, mobility park, SAF tent, etc., etc. I actually don't know how we did it, but we did it, huh? And we did it despite all the limitations, etc., because there was a common purpose. We were not going to let Singapore down, right? And we were not going to let our staff down. We were not going to leave our patients down. And so, despite all adversities, ranging from ops to allied health, to nursing, to HR, to everybody else, we pulled together and made the impossible work. So how did we do it? Yeah, I think many times we return to our basics, hand washing. Surinder will be quick to remind us, gloves, the PPEs, and I really like the video, take and record your temperature twice a day. You know, for those of us who were slightly tormented by my insistence, but I think all of these small measures serve to protect us. Then, of course, before the dust at the emergency department could settle, we were almost overwhelmed by the number of migrant workers that were coming to the hospital. At some point, you know, when we were not able to, we think we were not going to be able to man the dorms, we called for volunteers. I remember that evening, we called for volunteers. And from a sense of not knowing who might be able to volunteer, which discipline might be the most natural to go out there, then we found people like Michael from psychiatry who stepped up and, you know, and he made everything work, right? Michael is just one example. And then we have Farid, we have the Ranjit, we have Zhi Hong, we have people who were willing to step up over and beyond. And so we ran not one dorm, not two dorms, we ran 5 dorms. And at the peak of what we do, we were serving like 16,000 migrant workers, 275 volunteers. And in the work that we do, we even prevented older migrant workers from succumbing to COVID-19, because even as they were queuing, etc., we were prepared to be able to look after them. When there was not enough to care for them, our staff donated care packs from their own resource vitamins, etc., just to make a difference to our migrant workers. And then when we thought it was over, right, then kena serology testing some more. Have to go out there and do serology testing, etc. And at that time, Whipping was a bit stressed. Just only a little bit only. Okay? And we did it. You know, everybody stepped up. Now, not just as part of Jurong Health Campus, but as part of NUHS, that we were able to do it, and yet another 77 volunteers stood up. I don't know where they come from, but good people. And so despite the fact that, you know, our dormitories were seen to be highly infectious, high-risk area, I'm actually glad to say that none of our staff who were managing the dorms were infected, and kudos to all of you for just making sure that things are safe for our staff. So then when we say, okay lah, can ready lah, okay, no problem ready, kena CCF, you know, how would we know 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, when we were planning the Jurong Health Campus, that there will be more beds on the other side of the road compared to this side of the road? It cannot be. It baffles the mind. It contradicts, common intellect. But that was exactly what happened, right? Then Gi Hian volunteered, and Wei Lin, you know, and then in the midst of all of this, 60 or more staff volunteered, and we ran as part of NUHS, big box CCF, in addition to 5 dormitories, in addition to the hospital, and we processed more than 1,400 patients, even during this time. So I really want to put on record. I go through in some level of detail to talk about this because I want to brag on y'all. You know, it's such a pride and honor to be able to work alongside you as you do so. I also want to make sure that, you know, as we talk about our contribution outside the external ops, that we remember the majority of our people who are here toiling for our patients as well. Okay, and staff continue to work really hard, put up a fantastic fight, even on the Jurong Health Campus. And the way it has been done is, again, something that we really ought to continue for a long time to come. Many of us work much harder, longer hours, split team, even when the patient load was high, and during this time demonstrated professionalism. They were, of course, helped by our service partner, and I think Kian Swan was instrumental in rallying our service partner, housekeeping, pottering, facilities management from ISS and NG, and they are all heroes. You know. They don't complain. They don't complain. We asked them to move with us, and they did. Many of our staff went beyond their normal duties. So doctors and nurses were from various other disciplines. They were deployed to the emergency department to be able to help take care of the load. Allied health team. Our physios were trained to take on RT responsibility because we were going to ramp up in terms of our ICU. We have occupational therapists, speech therapists, dietitian, audiologists, social workers trained to perform swabs and new roles in COVID operations in the dorms and CCF. We have admin colleagues, HR, ops, comms, QII, medical affairs, finance, clinical education, stepping up to help in the front line. As an example, I will share with you that the service quality team, our SQ team who used to stand in the midst of very angry patients, during this point in time, they stood together with our emergency department colleagues, and they helped in terms of topping up the PPE, distributed meals to staff areas at the ED tentages, etc. Staff from admin department also step up in terms of temperature screening, contact tracing. GS and our security officers, when we were opening up COVID wards, managing migrant workers, I was a bit worried. I was a bit worried about, how can we protect our staff, right? And we deployed our security officers there, etc. And that kind of give some sense of peace, etc. And our migrant workers in our community turn out to be no different than other patients whom we have been serving. So, and also, I don't want to forget that I want to especially appreciate our emergency planning colleagues, Karen, Waylene, etc. Right? Because they manned the command center, did so with distinction, and allowed us to be able to get on with many of the things that we need to do. So the fight against COVID-19 clearly brought out the tenacity of the Jurong Health campus spirit. And I would actually move on to say that our collective soul was actually also fostered at the same time. So you are our everyday heroes, and I want to make sure that that we sustain this good work going forward. And so the announcement that you were alluding to is that I would like to announce that in appreciation of your effort in the fight against COVID-19, the hospital has prepared two things. Okay, one is a keychain medallion and a personalized certificate that will remind us of our valiant fight against COVID-19 for many years to come. Okay, something that we can put on and we remind ourselves that, wow, I was a party to this fight. And the second is to reach into your stomach. Okay, all staff will be given Grab food vouchers so that you can enjoy food deliveries with your family. A lot of people like to order things, of food delivery. So your loved ones have supported you, and they would have the opportunity to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And we are also extending the Grab food voucher to our outsourced partners because they have been instrumental in our COVID-19 journey and in this fight. These tokens of appreciation are, of course, small by comparison to all the effort, dedication, sacrifice that has been made. It's a gesture. It's a gesture that we want to make, to recognize and appreciate each and every one of you. And so, before I end, I want to thank the organizing committee. You all have done a fantastic job. Even in a small setting like this, you have made it special. Okay, and of course, the organizing chairman, I'm sure Litzin wants to chair this because it's important that our staff get the due recognition, and so thank you very much, Litzin. So I'd like to end by just saying this: we have come so far. Yeah, this is such a unifying experience for all of us. We know that we can do a lot more when there is a sense of common purpose and there's a conviction that we want to accomplish together. Beyond COVID-19, we have a long road ahead, right? This hospital was not built for COVID-19. This hospital was built for the community in the West. By the way, COVID-19 came, strengthened us, unified us, and it is this spirit that we must continue so that we will put forth our utmost in terms of making sure that our community is served to the best of our ability. A place that we will be proud to bring our loved ones in when they need the health care that they should get. Okay, so thank you very much, and enjoy the Grab food and the medallion that was served to remind you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Fu. Please remain for the certificate presentation. A total of 3,900 staff from across the 3 institutions that make up the Jurong Health Campus, NTFGH, JCH, and JMC will receive certificates as well as grant vouchers in appreciation and recognition of their commitment, tireless efforts, and support during this COVID-19 crisis. Members of the senior management team that represent the various job groups and divisions will now be presented with these certificates and vouchers.
For Medicine, Chairman of the Medical Board, Associate Professor Chia Wei Kiat. For Nursing, Chief Nurse, Ms. Kutia Mal. For Operations, Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Ng Kien Suan. For Allied Health and Community Operations, Senior Director, Ms. Chi Tonggan. For Human Resource, Chief Human Resource Officer, Ms. Lim Wee Ping. For Finance, Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Ong Kwee Hyok. For Communications, Community Relations and Service Quality, Head, Ms. Tessa Montero. Thank you, Mr. Fu.
Prior to this, we held a photography competition where we invited staff to submit photographs of the fight against COVID-19. The shortlisted submissions were displayed at the Kampong area, as well as uploaded to Workplace and were put to a vote. They are now exhibited at the Link Bridge. We have prepared a montage of all the photographs received. Let's take a look.
prize winners. Who are they? We're about to find out. We'd like to invite our chairman of the medical board, Associate Professor Chia Wei Kiat, to present the prizes to the winners. Prof. Chia, please. The prizes are vouchers of varying denominations from various merchants. The 5 consolation prize winners of the $50 vouchers are Joshua Yap from Radiology. Unfortunately, he is unable to join us for this event. His colleague Chua Tzu Ting will be collecting it on his behalf. Okay. Next up is Muhammad Faizul from the Emergency Department. The next consolation prize winner is Dr. Wilson Chong from the Emergency Medicine Department. Unfortunately, he's unable to join us for this event. His colleague Dr. Lee Hian will be collecting it on his behalf. Next, we have Wong Wee Han from Audiology. And finally, nurse clinician Joanne Yeo from EDTU.
Now we're on to our very exciting top 3 prizes. The third prize of a $100 voucher goes to Muhammad Shafiq from the Emergency Department with 304 votes. Could you please tell us a little bit about your photo?
I didn't expect this. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a team effort of myself and my friend Faizul at the side. We actually need to get clearance from our boss to actually capture this period. So it's also to enlighten our colleagues around us. So we actually had a gallery of our photos which actually took, and we still haven't really shared to the public yet, but it's a nice bunch of photos which I feel that once COVID-19 is rested and the dust is settled, then I think it will be nice to show our colleagues of what they went through during this tough period. That'll be all. Thank you.
Thank you, Shafiq. The second prize of a $200 voucher goes to Chua Tzu Ting from Radiology with 367 votes. Can you please tell us a little bit about your photo?
This photo was taken after our night shift, so my colleague was just taking a break. So I thought it's something that we can remember on, how we fight on together. Yeah, so we also have a lot of photos taken during this period. So after this, we hope that we can remember this period and how we bonded as one. Yep. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And now for the individual with the winning photograph who will receive the coveted $300 voucher is Ian De Vera Sindana from Respiratory Therapy with 510 votes. Ian, can you tell us a bit about your photo?
This photo was taken during the peak of COVID in Pod 5. So the only thing that left there for us, I think, is just a faith to each other, faith to the Creator. And that's the one rule, major rule that we have in ICU, that we have to take a look at each other's back, especially if we're wearing PPE, just to protect us from the disease, or else no one will take care of the patient. Thank you.
We would like to invite CEO, Deputy CEO to join CMB and the winners for a group photo. CEO and Deputy CEO, please.
Thank you, CEO, CMB, and Deputy CEO. Congratulations to the photography prize winners again. Your photographs were thoughtful and meaningful and inspiring.
Now, the pandemic has stirred in all of us a myriad of emotions, some positive, some negative. A local artist, Miss Shirley Poe, was inspired to put paint to canvas by the pandemic and how Singaporeans from all walks of life responded to it, with selflessness, positivity, and dedication in the face of adversity. Here to tell us more about her painting is the artist herself. Miss Shirley Poe, please.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'm Shirley here. Thank you, Hijab. It's my first time meeting you. Thank you for letting me having this opportunity to really offer my piece of artwork. I'm a learning local artist, and this is a piece that I've named Go Singapore. Actually, in Mandarin, is Singapore 加油. Okay, because along the way, over the last 9 months, I think I've seen a lot, watched a lot on the news. Today, especially, I felt very moved with you face to face, right? I can sense, I can tell how much you have gone through. So this piece is really behind it is on solidarity. And in Singapore, we are such a small country. Over the last 9 months, we saw the cases rise up to a phenomenal level at one point in time, and how we have done so well collectively as a nation, control and contain the situation. So this is something I'm very proud of as a local Singaporean. Of course, there are many foreigners in Singapore that has contributed part and parcel of that. So from an external view, right, what this piece really displays is a in the center against the social distancing, again, with the danger tape all around it, right, that we are all distanced apart by the 1 meter distance, but yet collectively across, we are supported as, an individual by all our frontliners represented by health frontliners, the uniform groups. And what's most interesting in this piece, I'm not sure if you have seen, because all this participation from the various uniform groups and in international stands, right, we all have nurses, we all have doctors. But what's unique to this piece is it's very Singaporean, represented by our SIA girl. Right, they are obviously one of the contributors and being part and parcel of this community as well. And surrounded by all of us Singaporeans in red and white, we went through National Day for the first time in COVID. And in this little big garden city, depicted by all our little HDB blocks condominiums. So this is really a very local little artwork, and even like small little descriptions around our little army boys helping to put our mask together. So in contribution to also supporting our 40,000, 50,000 over construction workers or dorm workers who were affected. And I really see that, when I stay in my neighborhood, I feel for them because every day the buses and the trucks come by and they pick up our garbages, right? So I can felt that, the amount of workload supported by all of us is really very important. So I just want to keep it simple. All of us have done a little part in our own way. And from an external person, I really want to take this opportunity to thank all of you. And I believe that with cohesion, we can walk through this together as a nation. Okay? Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Poe. We would now like to invite CEO, Deputy CEO, and CMB for a group photo with Ms. Poe. Thank you, Ms. Poe, for donating your painting to the hospital in recognition of our frontliners. Thank you, CEO, Deputy CEO, and CMB.
Now, to commemorate not only our campus's participation in pandemic operations within and without the hospital, but also our commitment to standing with the nation and indeed the world during this pandemic, we will be unveiling a staff participation board. I mean, not so much unveiling, but presenting it. right? But first, to give us a sense of the scale of the operations carried out and the people like you that made it all possible, we have prepared another montage for your viewing pleasure in lieu of a very dreary monologue. Enjoy.
In a world where there is strife, we protect our precious life, keeping kindness within sight, doing only what is right. But when we confront a time, faced with peaks we cannot climb, still we try with all our might to ascend the steepest heights. There are everyday heroes to be found who are helping to keep us safe and sound. And together we can go to the future, for we know there are everyday heroes all around. If we look inside our hearts, find the place where caring starts, then we'll know what we must do when the love and care shines through. When we move ahead as one, till the troubles are all gone, when the challenges are won, only then we can move on. There are everyday heroes to be found, safe and sound. And together we can go to the future, for we know there are everyday heroes all around. There are everyday heroes all around.
We would now like to invite CEO, Deputy CEO, and CMB back for the presentation of the Staff Participation Board, and to sign on it. Mr. Fu, Dr. Kwek, and Prof. Chia, please. Thank you, CEO, Deputy CEO, and CM.
And with that, we have come to the end of the event. We have collectively accomplished much, but there remains much to be done. Always remember that small jobs done well will make a big difference. Remain vigilant, look out for one another, and stay safe. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you.